Welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices, where we're telling stories our way. And our subject today is the question about the water in California, especially during this wildfire event that happened. So in this segment, I wanted to talk about are these natural disasters exposing the vulnerabilities within the Black community in terms of infrastructure and insurance also?
I would have to say yes. I know this is contemporary Black voices, but I want to say to all people, we all need to look at our vulnerabilities to actually what's happening with climate change and the things in our different area. Uh, San Antonio last week had a earthquake, which never gets earthquakes, and we had an earthquake 2 years ago in the state of Texas. We had a snow winter blizzard advisory type of thing. It wasn't really a blizzard, but it got so cold that it stressed our grid, our electric grid, and water was a problem as well. We're in a drought area, so there's a lot of things that are happening that we need to be aware of. One of the things that I wanted to talk about, if we can, is the FAIR plan.
Okay.
The FAIR plan in in California, is an insurance plan that's meant to, I guess, augment your regular plan, or if you don't have insurance already, it's also an incentive for people to be able to get insurance. However, the problem that I see with it is it's only valued up to 300,000, and we know in most places in Southern California that those houses are probably at least minimum 900,000 and over a million. So that's not going to be sufficient amount to cover it. I know in our segment last week we talked about, and we probably shouldn't have joked about it, but we were talking about 300,000 might be enough for you to come to Texas, but don't come to Texas. So I think it's something that you can look at, but I think it's something that as citizens and voters of a particular area, like Southern California, that you might want to look at and decide whether the government is doing all that they can do to be able to help those homeowners who either can't get insurance, don't have insurance, or to be adequate to cover their structures there in Southern California.
Correct. Now, what he would about concerning this earthquake. Well, after again last week's show, I decided to go online to look at my homeowner's insurance policy, and I looked it over, but I was looking for two things: fire. So, in a natural disaster, my house is not covered. And the other thing that's not covered is in the event of an earthquake. So that was kind of a shock for me, that earthquake. But it turns out about a couple of days later, we had an earthquake near San Antonio. So to get these events covered, you have to purchase a special policy, one for earthquakes, one for wildfire situations.
Tornado riders.
No, I think the hurricanes are covered. But the fire and the earthquake definitely is not covered, and a special policy you have to purchase one of those. So there's a lot that's going on with these insurance companies. There's a lot going to where will they drop you, will they not drop you? There's just a lot of questions, but it kind of goes back again about the vulnerability, about how these natural disasters are exposing vulnerabilities in our Black communities.
Let me ask a question about your insurance policy. Is there a difference between fire and wildfires?
Well, I think what they're saying here is if it's for natural disasters.
That would be wildfire.
That would be a wildfire.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess there was a lot of misconceptions. So about all the insurance companies did not pull out. So there's still AAA. There's still Mercury Insurance. There's still Lemonade Insurance.
Mm.
Yeah.
Lemonade?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lemonade, Mercury.
Sounds like
AAA.
you're making these up.
And there was, I think it was another one. It might have been USA. I know there's another. There's a fourth one that's a pretty big one that's still in California that people were still able to be insured by. So I know that what you're talking about, the fair plan, it are the ones that hook them up with various insurance companies. If they were unable to get insurance otherwise, they could go through the fair plan. So there was insurance that was still available in these areas. And so just don't know if they went through the fair plan. Again, we don't know how much they, say what their losses were and if that's significant enough to cover it. But there were still private insurance that was still
Caleb,
available.
you've looked over the FAIR plan. I don't know if you know the answer to this, but can you buy the FAIR plan independently, or does it have to be coupled with another insurance company?
So I think what that is, it just facilitates.
It's kind of like affordable health care.
Yeah. So it's like it hooks you into an affordable insurance company.
Any of our viewers who are out there that know about the FAIR plan, please give us a comment to let us know more about how that FAIR plan works, if you know about it or you're somebody who's in California.
Now, before we got a couple more minutes, but I want to kind of move off a little bit and talk about, since we're talking about financing, finance is going to be a big issue. The big question is, can I rebuild? Will I be able to rebuild? Do what you can, but try not to miss paying that mortgage and keeping your debt payments, paid up. Be current on that because you don't want any excuse to where you're denied financing and you become vulnerable to the vultures that are already coming out there to take away homes and property. So maintain your mortgage as much as you can. Don't miss any credit card debts or any type of loan payments. Pay what you can. Make sure or contact those companies to try to negotiate some type of alternative pay plan. But again, don't miss those payments. You guys have anything else you want to say?
No. So no, that's a good point. So I worked for Citi for a long time, and so I'm without a doubt. Banks right now have forbearance programs. And so contact your banks, contact all your creditors, and let them know what zip code you live in. Because as a matter of fact, a lot of them will already know what zip code you live in, and there's a forbearance plan. I guarantee there's a forbearance plan.
Tell people
and
what
a lot of
forbearance
times,
is.
Postpone.
So what it is, you won't have to pay your bills, your credit card, your car notes. So a lot of times it's for 3 months, 6 months, depending on how devastating it is, what your losses were. If you live in what they call a FEMA declared disaster zone, which this is, they'll extend that for 6 months or even longer. And so definitely contact your creditors. Especially, and if you have a mortgage, especially with one of these larger banks or whatever, they should have forbearance as well. So definitely reach out to them. Don't shy away from it. I know it's a devastating loss. This may be one of the last things on your mind, but in order to ensure that you don't lose that property, definitely contact your creditors and let them know that you live in a FEMA declared disaster zone. And I'm sure there's assistance because I guarantee the entire country is behind you guys, and everyone's well aware and everyone's doing everything they can to reach out and help. So definitely contact your creditors, and I'm sure there's a program that's going to be out there that's going to help you guys out.
Okay, then we want to thank you guys for listening in on us, and also, we do read your comments, and we appreciate your comments. But again, this is Contemporary Black Voices, where our topic today was the water question concerning the California wildfires, and we are telling our story our way. See you next week.